Hello, everybody. My name is Lorenzo Petrillo, and I'm Italian, and I'm a street fighter. Don't get me wrong. I fight to bring the people back into the streets, into the piazzas. I fight for a more human-centered public space design. To tell you my story, I have to bring you back to Milan in the 1995. At that time, there were no smartphones, no social medias, no Netflix, and no online games. At the time, we had TVs, yes. People's lives were addicted by the TV schedule. Housewives never missed an episode of The Bold and the Beautiful at 1:30. Kids were rushing back home at 3:30 to watch the latest manga cartoon. And in the nighttime, the whole family was taking over the living room sofa to watch an episode of Fresh, The Prince of Bel-Air. So basically, people stopped going out, stopped interacting and socializing with their friends and their neighbors. And the Italian sense of neighborly community was slowly being lost. Milan, it is and it was a beautiful city. Unfortunately, at a certain point, massive advertising billboards start popping up all around and covering beautiful historical buildings and archaeological sites. At that time, we were told they were necessary to cover the cost of the refurbishing of the sites. But it later turned out that there were no works done. And basically, corrupt people were just pocketing all the advertising money. So a small group of students at that time identified these two issues as the main enemies of the social interaction in our city. For them, the public spaces were the heart of an ideal society, and thus decided to become expert in urban cardiology. This small group became a company called Esterni, and their mission was to change the habits in their hometown. I grew up fascinated by all the interventions and the efforts done by these guys for the common benefit, leading me to join them in 2004. As I said, one of the enemies was the TV. So we decided to fight the TV, organizing a TV strike. A TV strike is very simple. We basically contact all the cinemas, theaters, all the attractions in Milan, asking them to provide a free entrance or a discounted tickets to the people that were showing up with their remote control. The remote control was actually the proof that they turned off the TV and came out from their homes. It was a great success, and thanks to a TV anchorman who criticized our initiatives on the TV channel, it rapidly became a national strike. On the public space side, when we found out that the billboards were just a scam, we came up with the idea of providing converting kits to our citizens. So billboards have been turned into walls for artistic display or personal expressions. Some other became have been used as a sport fields for squash or for basketball. Some others have been used for movie nights under the stars, and also as a human posters, where real people were suspended instead of the common posters. There is nothing new in our theories and what we are trying to do, but definitely something lost. Something that can be resumed with the concept of piazza or agora. Agora is the central place in the polis. Polis is the city-state in ancient Greece. Agora literally means gathering place or assembly. And in fact, at that time, it was the place for artistic, commercial, spiritual, athletic life of the cities. In the last century, urban design has changed a lot due to the arrival of all these cars and public spaces that were once populated by people are now occupied by cars. This is an example in New York, Times Square. In the last decades, big cities have done, are trying to balance, get the balance back again. Unfortunately, municipalities and urban planners are still following a car-centric approach. Trafalgar Square in London, it looks beautiful, but there is no green, there is no shade, there is no space like seats for people. On the contrary, in Rome, Campo dei Fiori is the typical example of a human-centered public space. The piazza is populated in the day and the night with social and commercial activities. We have markets, we have bars and restaurants, we have musicians, buskers, tourists and citizens. Even in Singapore, now we take for granted the streets are for people, but even in Singapore, streets which take up to 15% of the total land area were once universally used as a mixed public space for pedestrians, for food cart vendors, for children, and so on, and many other activities. There are different ways to move through a city. Most of the people, they consider the streets and place they are going through just as a moment of transitions, and they're busy thinking about what they were doing before or what they're going to do as soon as they reach their destination. Other people instead, like me, like us, are overcome by a sort of journey experience, even in such a short daily route. So they look around with different eyes, and every single element is a source of inspiration for new contemplations. Our goal is very simple. We want to unlock cities' full potential, rethinking public spaces to promote a social interaction. Let me show you how a simple idea can grow over time. Following our human-centric approach, we decided to provide parking for people instead of parking for cars. And we just start hanging hammocks on trees and having a sign inviting people to swing and chill. Later on, we designed a proper structure to be able to put hammocks all around our cities. And then it became bigger and bigger, and we placed it into unused piazzas or squares. And finally, lastly, we decided to temporarily convert car parking into hammocks parking. This is a beautiful car parking in the city center of Milan, beside a nice park. And this is what we did in 2006. And we provide for 10 days a place for people to swing. We have a stage for concerts and performances, bar, games, projections. It was something amazing. From the car parking, we move into the parking lots. And still providing comfortable solutions for our citizens. I designed this street furniture element in 2009 for the 2x5 contest during the Public Design Festival in Milan. Just for your understanding, 2x5 is the size of a parking lot in the street. This element is called Mi Dondolo, and also known as I Swing, and is a piece of furniture that promotes a social interaction. In fact, if you want to swing, you need to interact with the people in front of you, whether you know them or not. It can be placed in the streets, but also in the parks. It can be integrated with solar panels, speakers, books, Wi-Fi, whatever. The canopy not only provides shades, but also a useful map, a map with useful information about the neighborhood. So after a few years of imprinting and working on such amazing projects that marked my cause, I started my life chapter in Asia. And as ambassador, I would say, of this philosophy of new, old way of living within the public spaces. When I moved to Singapore, I wanted to continue the project in the public spaces, but at the beginning I was struggling to find the support of the local stakeholders. Luckily, an open source project started in San Francisco called Parking Day caught the attention of the Urban Redevelopment Authority, who were now interested in exploring similar projects in Singapore. Thanks to this project, which basically consists in a temporary transformation of parking lots from the meter parking lots in the street into place for people, we converted not one, but 30 parking lots in the same road. And on September 18 last year, we provided like livable spaces for people with offering shade, greens, workshops, music, and an open forum for people to leave their ideas and thoughts for a better Singapore. Stakeholders, neighbors, visitors in general, they loved it. And so we started working on a bigger project called Urban Ventures. Once every 2 months, on a Saturday, we free 3,000 square meters of parking space in Keong Saik Road, this is Keong Saik Road, from cars parked and jammed. And we give it back to the people. The turnout has been incredible. 2,000 people show up at the first edition, 4,000 show up in the second one. And I want to show you now a video to take you through the experience of a public space, a freed public space.
Stop writing songs. I never wanna shake the hands and stay. I never wanna shake the hands and stay. Oh no, let's go. We're one. Let them shine for what it's worth. To your place, place, place. We're on our way, we're on our way, we're on our way. Somehow hold me close, close, close. We're losing time, time, time. We're losing time, time, time. I'm falling to the we're losing time. Hold me close, we're falling to the ground.
So, opening up streets leads to all sorts of surprising uses. Of course, this project, as expected, was at the beginning faced the opposition of the local businesses, who now, after experiencing it and surprisingly found out the benefits of it, are now our stronger supporters. Recently, I heard a Italian famous architect, Lorenzo, in an interview saying, restituire una funzione a un'area dismessa non è solo un sogno, è una necessità, which means return a function to an unused or misused area is not only a dream, it's a necessity. So, to make an impact, we need to change people mindset. We need to change rules and regulations. We need to change urban plans. And it's an intense journey that my company, Lope Labs, Esterni, and other groups of people around the world don't want to continue alone. So guys, if you have any ideas, any activity that you like doing, no matter how small it is, just bring it outside. Just share it with your neighbors or your direct community. Step by step, all together, we will be able to reclaim our public spaces. Thank you.